Welcome to CivilNet. My guest today is an attorney from Southern California, Matthew Karanian, who has spent years in Armenia and Karabakh. And he, with his friend and work partner, Robert Kirkjian, have now come out with the third edition of what was the first travel guide to Armenia, Armenia and Karabakh. Matt, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Salpi.
I'm not going to tell anybody, or did I already, that you're an attorney, but the photography is what you have been consumed by, I don't know how many years, 15?
About 15, that's right, Salpi. And it's the photography, interestingly, that brought us to where we are today. Because our first book that we published about Armenia back in 1999 was a large coffee table format photography book. And it was after we put that book together that we said, we've got to share this with more people. We've got to get more people to go to Armenia.
The first guide came out, and you all surprised us because it was like a real travel guide. It had not just gorgeous photography, but also information and detail. And as you know, we do old churches really well, but we don't do consistency really well. And it's always amazed me the amount of detail you've managed to put in the book. Is it getting easier or harder?
Well, every book I think gets harder and harder because our standards keep getting higher and higher. And one of the things that we really were concerned about is showing Armenia in a very balanced way. Yes, we know it's got ancient monasteries. We know about the ancient culture. But we also wanted to show it as a modern republic, too. And so we wanted to show every aspect of Armenia. And that was the biggest challenge that faced us in producing the book and photographing the book.
So how did you solve that problem?
Well, a lot of editing went into it. First of all, for the photography. We'd have wonderful photographs. But then as we put them all together, we realized we needed a balance. We needed to have young people, middle-aged people, old people, modern buildings, old buildings. So there was a constant editing process of sometimes not always taking the picture that was my favorite or Robert Kirkjian's favorite, but taking a picture that we thought helped better balance how we represented Armenia. And the same thought process went into how we presented it in text. We needed to be certain that we weren't giving the wrong impression about Armenia. It's not simply an old country, it's also a modern country.
The need for support, assistance, accessibility from institutions, government agencies, private places, did you get it? Do people get what you're doing?
It really, really warmed my heart throughout every edition of this book, how much support we got from everyone. I can recall back when we did the very first travel guide, this is back in 2001, we went to Stepanakert. There were no maps, no street maps for Stepanakert. We went to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and they said, let's work together, let's help you create one. They actually put their researchers out, they created some maps, they gave us the files, we worked with them, and the level of cooperation was just really quite remarkable because I couldn't imagine, for example, going to some place like Italy, just to take a country off the top of my head, and expecting their highest level government agencies to assist a publisher with a travel guide. So we got support from everyone in Armenia, in Artsakh, every place we went. It was really quite astonishing.
I imagine that a third edition means updated information, not too many new places, or am I wrong?
Well, the ancient monasteries are still in the same places, but we did still need to update information about those. There's for example, the Armenian Monuments Awareness Project has been very active in the past few years. We're able to write about what they've done, the placards that they've installed at many of the ancient cultural sites. So even with an ancient site, we still updated the information. But of course, for the logistical needs of a person traveling to Armenia, all of that information has to be updated every few years. New hotels, new restaurants, new ways of getting around. Armenia is probably one of the few places in the world where every time you go back, there's a new route, there's a new road, there's new travel logistics. And that's what continues to make Armenia such an exciting place to go. Every time I travel to Armenia, I find it's a new experience.
The ability to share that feeling of the new experience with the outside world, how are you distributing the book? Is it going to get out there, or is it really for me and my sister?
This book, the previous edition that will be current up until this week, was the #1 best-selling travel guidebook for Armenia. Now, you could say, well, Armenia is a small country, so that doesn't mean a lot, but it does mean a lot if you're Armenian, and it does mean a lot to me that it's the best-selling guidebook. We're on Amazon, we're in Barnes & Noble, we're in all the independent bookstores. If you want us, it's not hard to find us. We're on the internet, we're everywhere. So it's not just for family members, it's for everyone. And we're quite pleased to see that we're being read by a wide spectrum of people.
Last question. If I'm only going to go to one place in that whole book, where would you send me?
I guess I would send you to Dadivank.
That was fast. That was fast. You didn't even think a minute. Wow. Go ahead. Tell me where. The sense of the sense of adventure, of first of all traveling to Artsakh and seeing such an ancient Armenian province that is still Armenian today, is one aspect of it. And then to have the ambition and the stamina to make it all the way to Dadivank means that when you do arrive there, it's such a meaningful experience to see a monastery that dates back to about the 1st century. The buildings that are there now don't date back that far, but there's a recorded history of Dadivank that dates back to the 1st century. And that's just astonishing to think that there was something there 2,000 years ago. Thank you, Matt. This has been great. Matthew Karanian, attorney, Southern California, who's a photographer, Robert Kirkjian, his friend, work partner, photographer, have put together the 3rd edition of Armenia and Karabakh, the Stone Garden Travel Guide, and we're grateful. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Salpi.
Thank you for watching CivilNet.